Hi, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural English broadcast of Overwatch Contenders China. We are on Lijiang Tower right now with Lucky Future, Zenith, and Flag Gaming. We're jumping right into the action. Rapture, Panda, take it away, guys.
We are on Lijiang Tower right now. Thanks, Kick Tripod. Yeah, we're already underway. Lucky Future Zenith has already taken the first phase of Lijiang and already have a pretty steady lead here, Panda. So we're getting right into the thick of it as we jump into this map.
Absolutely right. Yeah, Lucky Future Zenith setting themselves up on gardens. You can see it's a little bit more of a standard style. They do have this Pharah hanging out in the sky as a part with the Widowmaker, so they're able to take a commanding 50% thus far and really fending off this Tracer of Land Boss very well.
Yeah, I feel like a commanding lead here is almost an understatement for sure, and they have a ton of ultimates to work with, so even if they lose this fight, they're really not out of it at all. But there's a lot of firepower coming out from this team. We're going to see how off they're going to go. If they're going to try and get a pre-active ultimate here or there, try and take out this Zenyatta, forcing out the Transcendence and the Defense Matrix. Erster is just taking a lot of attention away from Flag Gaming, and Marvel going to try and use that Primal Rage to dislodge the Widowmaker, unable to get the kill, but Lucid meanwhile making it a 6v5 advantage here, and Zenith might be able to hold on to this Panda with relative ease.
They actually got both support ultimates out of that. Coldest with the fantastic timing of the Transcendence to not only keep himself alive, but keep the Diva inside the mech as well during that Pharah barrage. But Mika already convicted to the Valkyrie, so that's both support ultimates out of the way. Now they have a pairing of tank ultimates to go ahead and take into this, and they have to get on there quickly. We're already up at 95.
Yeah, this is pretty nuts for Flag Gaming. They have to be super clutch right now and try and get onto the point. Lucid has that Transcendence. They have a lot of sustain going into this. 99% overtime does get put down by the Primal Rage, and DMO going to find DM forcing out the res from IDK. Now still some pressure from Erster outside trying to demech this Devo. Just got back into the cockpit. Marvel finding DMO on the point. Landboss going to get that revenge onto Marvel right after. And the Mercy trying to get across the point to get some kind of res, or at least out of harm's way. Landboss going to find Marvel. And it's a pretty scrappy fight here on the point. But Zenith is actually able to hold on and keep it, trading evenly for the most part here. And Ursa's still waiting on the barrage, 33 HP before he's able to get pocketed by the Mercy. Here comes Landboss trying to dislodge another Diva, does get the D-Mech on Michelle. And still Panda, neither team with a huge advantage here until Erster and DM going off, picking off more, and the kill feed going blue. Lucky Future Zenith taking a very quick 2-0 win here on Lijiang Tower.
By the time Landboss started really coming to life, it was almost too late. Erster went back towards spawn to pick back up the Mercy to fly all the way back to the point and ended up inevitably crushing off with that barrage in tow. Didn't really see much pairing coming out besides the Widowmaker to try to deal with the Pharah in the sky. I know that Flag Gaming is a very dive-heavy team. Maybe as a part of the coordination, they want to focus more of a hit scan role to take that Pharah out of the sky with the Zenyatta. Could help out.
Yeah, there really wasn't a lot of time to figure this out for Lucky Future to really be kind of downloaded a bit by Flag Gaming. Like, that was just over just like that. We really didn't get to see what Flag Gaming was trying to do in terms of gaining leverage over Zenith. They were just kind of defeated before the fight got started, or if it was scrappy, they weren't able to trade, quick enough to keep Zenith low in numbers. And yeah, Panda, I mean, we jumped in the game so quickly, it was hard to get a grasp on exactly how things were going. But then almost immediately, we kind of saw the theme of this fight. And as we see these kills unload here, how heavily favored it was for Lucky Future Zenith.
It was pretty heavily favored. I mean, I know that Lucky Future Zenith, having all of the backings of their team as well, they are very flexible. They are very adept at taking what's needed to the table, flexing in between all these DPS heroes, and really putting their enemy team on the brink of what needs to be done next. Now, I can tell you a little insight about Flag Gaming is that they are a very heavy dive-oriented team. They really enjoy playing that prevalent core dive in between Winston and Diva, but it's to set up their Genji and Tracer player. Now, they typically will swap off to something that will help out to the countering, but in a sense like that, pulling out the Widowmaker, you need more focus into the Pharah. It was just too much justice raining from above.
Yeah, and this is a pretty, I would say, not a completely inconsequential match for these two teams. Lucky Future Zenith 1-0 in the season so far, Flag Gaming 0-1. So this is where we'll start seeing these teams kind of separate in the field, at least in their pools. And Lucky Future Zenith with the best map differential out of all the teams so far at +4. So they've already had a really good start to the season.
Already a really good start to their season too. And to your point as well, Flag Gaming, not the greatest start in the world. However, their one win in their map win differential was on Control. So they did have a little bit of a deficit going into the next few series when a more of an objective-based map was in tow. So I'm very interested to see how they adapt coming into what is now the second week for them. first week for us in the English cast to adapt against them.
Well, there's definitely still a lot more to talk about. So as we get started up on our second map, at least before that, we're going to throw it back to the desk. So Kick, Tripod, and Co., how about you take it away and talk about it?
Thanks a lot, guys. We're so excited to be here. It's been it's been an amazing start to this tournament. We've got a incredible match starting up with Lucky Future Zenith and Flag Gaming. I'm joined by the formidable desk here today with Volamel and Kenobi Cast. Hey guys, Joe, before we jump back into this next match, what do these people need to know about this Contenders tournament?
Sure, this is Contenders China. This is the kind of region that's been kind of buried for a long time, and now we actually get to see them and cast them and get to see what China's all about. This is your standard Overwatch League format, so this is going to be a kind of best of 4 format, and we're going to go to a tiebreaker if need be on Ilios. These teams are playing for $185,040. I know, very specific number. We're playing on patch 1.24. That means 100 rally. Shield Bash is nerfed by 1 second, and Storm Arrow Hanzo is live. Sound the alarms. Hanzo is here.
Duck and cover, duck and cover.
This is not $185,000 in Blizz bucks, by the way.
No. This is actual cash.
Yeah, actual cold hard cash. No Blizzard bucks here. We're going for the real money, KT.
I love it. Well, Kenobi, I want to ask you a little bit about Lucky Future Zenith. Now, a lot of us in the West don't get to watch a whole lot of Contenders China or the Chinese scene. What do we need to know about this squad?
Well, Lucky Future Zenith, they were your champions for last season, season 1 Contenders in China. So definitely they have that pedigree. I think they beat LGD in the finals for that. So definitely a team with a lot of, potential to take this tournament, as a whole, looking very strong, all Korean roster, I believe. Interesting about their team is they don't really have, they have a lot of flexibility. Sometimes I think that Michelle, who is their main tank player, quote unquote, because he'll switch over to, Farah, Reinhardt, Tracer, as we've seen in some other maps so far. And it's just really interesting to see how this team and how it's going to coagulate to making a winning formula here, because you don't really see often like those teams having those types of flexibility from like main tank to like support, or main tank to DPS rather. So I'm really interested to see what this team is going to pull up.
On the flip side, we've got Flag Gaming. Flag Gaming lost to T1W Esports Club 3 maps to 1 in their week 1 performance. Joe, what about this team? What do people need to know about Flag Gaming?
So to quickly break it down, I think that Flag is kind of in the sense of just general gaming concepts. You have wide teams, so very flexible teams. They can pull out any kind of composition they want, right? But when we look at Flag Gaming and China overall, I think they default very heavily to dive. This is the composition that we've seen tried and true for the last 2 years of Overwatch. They want to play dive. If by chance you do see them on something like tanks, if by chance you see something like a Sombra, they will just default after the first push if it doesn't necessarily work out to going back to dive. They're a dive team. They're a very tall team, so they're very specifically a great dive team. They're very good at it. They're specialists at dive. They're aggressive. They're going to be in your face. Watch. It's going to be amazing. They're all over the place. It's lovely.
Awesome. Well, it would not be a pre-show. Well, it's not really pre-show, is it? We're already 1 map through, but I need to get your predictions before we get going into the rest of it. No cheating. We already know Lucky Future Zenith is up 1-0. Kenobi, who's walking away with the win here today?
I think it's going to be Lucky Future Zenith taking the win here today. They looked pretty convincing in their first match that they had that we didn't get to cast, but there were VODs, and they just looked so good. I really like what I'm seeing from them. And, they are playing a team that's, at sort of lower in the food chain, I guess you could say, towards this Chinese contender. So I think it is going to be probably a 4-0 or at least a 3-1. I think there's definitely potential, as Falama mentioned, with that aggressive type of style, that punch you in the mouth style that Lucky Future Zenith gets caught off guard by Future Gaming. But I think it is going to be, I'm going to go with 4-0. I'm going to say 4.
All right, 4-0 from Kenobi. Volamel, what about you? What's your take?
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but my game plan for Flag Gaming victory was to see them take control, take that momentum, coast through the rest of the games, play aggressive. Unfortunately, we did see them kind of falter a little bit on control, so I do have to say it's probably going to be a Lucky Future Zenith coast 4-0.
Awesome. Well, I'm right with you. I'm going to say 3-1 here. I think Flag's going to take one, and we're going to have to see who's right. We'll for sure be visiting you in halftime for that. Before we jump into the next map, I do want to take a moment to tell you guys about Broadcast.gg, because this amazing cast and this awesome project we've been working on for a long time to bring you, it has been a labor of love for a lot of us. And if you want to get involved, in esports production, there's a link down below, a little panel for our Discord. Head on over to Discord and join our community. If not, follow the channel up here. It's right up here. Follow that. Follow us on Twitter at Broadcast.gg. Make sure to spell out that dot. It's really important that you spell it out. Otherwise, you'll find someone totally different, way more lame than us. So thank you guys for doing that. Now, before we jump into this next map, let's talk a little bit about this patch here, because or not even the patch necessarily, but the meta, because China, in just esports in general, we see very different metas coming out of this region consistently. Back when I was doing stuff for Hearthstone, PogChamp, there was always doing something different in China. And now we're here looking at China Contenders. Joe, what's different about this Chinese meta? What's important that might look a little bit different than what we're used to seeing in Western Overwatch?
So China, you know, not to dissuade anybody, but I think this is kind of a very aggressive region. They're kind of in your face. They're very brash in a sense. If I had to give them a color, it would be red all day. They're flanking. They want to play flanking heroes. They want to play odd compositions. I know we were all kind of experiencing Moss 7 clubs. Beautiful composition choices like yesterday, and it's wonderful. It's a kind of fresher breath of fresh air when it comes to Overwatch, because we're so used to very just, you know, kind of boring and, you know, by the book play. Everybody resets. No. China's not like that. We're taking fights. Everything's winnable. I love it.
I love it too. This is exciting. We're going to Kings Row for the second map. I'm really excited to get into this one. Panda, Rapture, you guys got half a map of practice. You guys should be warm now. Go ahead and take it away, guys.
Thanks, KT. Yeah, we're getting into our second map here, Panda. I hope you're awake. I had to slap myself in the face a couple times. That's all good because we're already into a hyper fast-paced set here with Zenith really leading the way. And on that, Panda, I have to ask you, if you were Flag Gaming, what would be like the first thing you're changing or trying to adapt to this team right now that's snowballing on Flag Gaming?
I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of Flag Gaming, and if I am in the mindset of Flag Gaming, it's hard for me to get off the dive. Let's put it that way. And if I needed to swap one thing, Rapture, it's just focusing down the target that does the most to my backline. Now the tanks need to really take that to heart, and they need to focus the coordination of said dive onto a target such as the Widowmaker. Maybe they take the swap onto a hit scan like I was mentioning on Lijiang Tower with the Zenyatta to set themselves up more proactively against Zafara. It all really depends on what Lucky Future Zenith brings out. Now, walking into this defense, there are setting up on a pretty standard style with the Junkrat and Widowmaker behind the barrier of Orisa with the Diva to clear the high ground Lucky Future Zenith is. But what I'm interested from Flag Gaming is Demo. Coming out on this Doomfist pick with Land Boss on the Genji with the core dive deep attack to set up the Doomfist. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it.
When you saw that kill from Zerster right there, I was going to say, I feel like Junkrat might be a great answer to these characters to try and dive and burst on Zenith right now. And Flag Gaming already feeling a lot of hurt there from that Junkrat. Falling back too, they have the tanks right in their face, and Michelle definitely going to give them a little once-over from Hotel and then push them back to that choke point once again. Even DMO trying to get out of there. And already, Panda, a lot of time burned out here from Zenith.
A lot of time burned out indeed, and to your point as well, Junkrat is fantastic for this. They only have so many spaces that they need to go, and we know Orisa is anti-dive. We've never seen it, and they're running 2 dive for DPS. They need to find a way in there, and you can see as soon as the Winston gets in there, he gets blown to bits.
Yeah, Melon's trying to find that Widowmaker, gets cut down by Lucy. Landboss going into the corner, looking for the Orisa, gets blown back, has to go back at 40 HP. And meanwhile, the rest of the team's getting slaughtered. Zerster upstairs doing unmitigated damage here, Panda. And even though Figley and Colas are getting on the board, Landboss there too, that might be enough to change things up. But Zenith still has numbers to fire back. Michelle able to get Landboss. DML though gonna join the fray, but this Junkrat Riptire might be able to steal the deal on a fight win and be a good rid of Mika and forcing out a Transcendence here. And still a scrappy fight. Zenith has the advantage, but just for a few moments, those Zerster getting rid of Demo again. Lee and Melon's getting on the board, but right now, I think this is actually the first time Flag Gaming might have a slight advantage here, Panda, on Zenith.
Yeah, the second that they had the advantage, killing off Mika from, or I'm sorry, killing off IDK from a nice swift strike from Landboss, really set themselves up to find an opening onto this point, but Urster has still yet to be dealt with. He's still landing so many mines and grenades freely up on the high ground. They need to get him out of there if they're ever going to get on this point. Another Riptire comes out and kills off the main tank again. Another push just squashed.
Yeah, Zenith forced the burn a lot there to win, but Flag Gaming, I mean, they got 2/3 of point A. That's not bad, not too shabby there, Panda, but they're below that 2-minute mark. So despite, you know, the battle might have been won, but not the war. Flag Gaming does have a lot of resources in the bank, but it's going to need more than that. They still have to get rid of this Junkrat. Definitely build up another Riptire throughout this next fight, Panda. And we'll see how Flag Gaming goes up. They're going to try and get that high ground early. Jump right up here. Landboss on the Genji Blade. We'll be able to pop that when necessary, but we'll definitely be looking out here for Lucy to pop the Transcendence. Marvel getting rid of Contenders still. That's a big start to this fight for Zenith, and that means Mel's going to try and go in deep with his Primal Rage to offset things and just disrupt Zenith for the time being. Primal Rage goes down. No kills. Michelle will body spot Mika, and there's no more Transcendence or Resurrects coming out. Michelle getting another one. Landboss only finding one kill, but at least found the Mercy, so both teams without that Resurrect. But again, with Flag Gaming being closer, they can trade a lot more evenly this hand and still get the reinforcements.
The second that they finally dealt with Urser was the opening that they needed on the point. IDK knew that they needed to get to that resurrection as soon as possible, and DMO and Landboss punished it. The one thing to note, though, Rapture, is that it took a solid 2 minutes to see a Doomfist or Genji ultimate versus the 2 Riptires from Urser. In the end, though, we will have 3 minutes for them to push the payload. Demo swapping from Doomfist over to Widowmaker, so elongating the sightlines, making it more pressurable for Marvel and Michelle to deal with these longer sightlines, and they're going to have to coordinate a dive themselves, but Coldest, with that opening pick, is going to set this payload rolling pretty swiftly.
Yeah, Landboss did a ton of damage off that missile reflect, and then Coldest picking up the kill. It was a nice 1-2 punch there. Flag Gaming going to keep rolling it through Main Street for now. And now a little bit of a jump on. That's Zenith trying. They don't want to let Zenith get any further than that. The Primal Raging Monkey does have the Discord. Not going to go down, though. Still pretty low on HP, but will get resuscitated. They jump right back in as DMO finds DM. So without that extra Widowmaker damage, Flag DM might be able to push that. At least get a kill off the Mercy, but the Resurrect does come in clean. Here's Michelle trying to even the odds. And gets one, but immediately gets cut down by Melon, just swinging that hammer. It's still even fights for both teams, and they're pretty even to spawn, so no longer an advantage here for Flag Gaming from the push. Teams might be able to get back in here, and with DM picking up these kills, Panda, they might exactly have what they need to at least stop it at this checkpoint, but they gotta watch out for Surge Shadow from now.
They have the infrared sight active and available, and that's setting up the sightlines for Landboss to pull out the Dragon Blade, but it's met by a Transcendence immediately.
Yep, that's just Overwatch 101 right there. You gotta have the Transcendence for the Blade, and that completely shuts it down. Landboss gets nothing off of it. It's still DM and DMO fighting it out with a lot of these kills trading back and forth. Zenith's still on about one ultimate. Zenith's about to get theirs. Zerster is about to get barrage, but gets cut down by Landboss, but they're able to get the entire ultimate charge here. Still a little bit longer to wait for that barrage. Pretty even trades. I think will be able to resurrect Zerster. Oh, Mika trying to get popped, peeking out past that store. DM almost getting the pick. Coldest will find Zerster in the meantime. Oh, nice one from DM. Cutting down DMO as they try to trade in the corner through that corridor. And now Zenith, I mean, they're getting pushed back onto their field here and giving Flag Gaming a lot of room.
Yeah, and they were okay with taking off that trade from getting rid of the Transcendence, but DM came to life and ended up killing off one, and it is a key pick at that. But Mika, though, getting the headshot onto a Widowmaker, that's not something you see from a Mercy.
Another Diva Bomb coming in from downtown. Not going to connect on anything. Probably just to keep them in the fight. But Lucid getting rid of Figly, or Figly, just lie that is, before the fight really gets going. So both teams going to reset. 40 seconds left on the clock. The second checkpoint still has not yet been met. Panda. Flag Gaming is almost there.
Yeah, this is troubling for the attacking team. Longest walk from that spawn room if you've ever had it yourself. I'm sure most of you at home have taken this walk. However, Lucky Future Zenith will have Michelle's Graviton Surge. This is a last team fight scenario, and with the Big Bang combo coming from Urster, it could spell the end for Flag Gaming, and they only have the Transcendence. It needs to get all of the burst healing inside this black hole, and it's on its way.
Michelle just has to pop this, and gonna do it right there. Nice, evading the defense matrix there. And there's the barrage combination. Gets one, but doing a lot of residual damage, and almost, forcing out that Dima mech as well, and the Transcendence. And the Zenyatas by themselves, definitely gonna get cleaned up here. Dima will find IDK, but at this point, it's too little too late. Gonna be found out themselves. Xerxes will pick up the kill. There goes overtime, ticking away, and Flag Gaming's nowhere to be found. Pandas, and they're gonna be shut down by Zenith. just before that second checkpoint. A great defense after almost holding point A. And Flag Gaming slowly but surely letting this slip through their fingers.
And that's the thing about running a very Genji-heavy, eccentric attacking, is that it always leaves you a little bit too in an open state of mind, right? You go for that dive, you don't kill somebody with the Swift Strike on cooldown, you don't get the reset. Now you're just a Genji stuck out in the open. And it happened to Land Boss maybe 1 or 2 times, unfortunately. You try to go all in with that Dragon Blade, it's met by the Transcendence Rapture. You said it, that's Overwatch 101, that you need to be more proactive in baiting out these ultimates to set up your DPS more fluidly. And one thing, to go back to your pre-show question, I was really excited to see Demo swapping from the Doomfist onto the Widowmaker came to life, killing off DM time and time again in those Widow duels, something I didn't expect to see. I want to see it come out on this defense to come out on strong, and Land Boss coming out on that Junkrat should enable Demo that much further.
Yeah, that's the pick you almost really have to make there. You know, on the first point, you can get away with Doomfist because you're trying to get that burst displacement, you know, just batter the point and eventually take it over time, which is what Flag Gaming did. They didn't win a fight and just take the whole thing. They slowly won a fight or two, got this 2/3, got another win, finally took the point. But then once you get to the streets phase, you do need that Widowmaker. You got to know that against the defense, they're probably going to be running theirs. The long sight lines just really make Widowmaker almost a must-have pick, especially in this meta where Widowmaker is pretty prevalent already as it is, and then just finding maps to give her an advantage means she's almost a must-have. And so I like that Flag Gaming was able to keep pace with Zenith in terms of composition, you're right, but you know, without like the ultimates hitting every time, they weren't getting their win conditions, and it made it easy for Zenith to catch up, eventually, you know, trade evenly, and then win a fight or two and hold it down.
Absolutely right. And as the attacking team finally stops yanking our chain, we're going to be able to see what they're coming out with here in a matter of seconds. It's going to be a pretty standard attack, everything's considering, besides Erster on this Roadhog. So it's a little bit of a closer style to what we know as GOATs. But we have a Pharah without a Mercy in the sky. Now, DM's still messing with us, still trying to figure out what DPS to take to this fight. And that's one of the more beautiful parts about the attacking team, Rapture. You can see what they're set up as. You can wait for that 20-second mark to pass, hit tab, swap accordingly, and then just take this flank, and you can see they're already behind them, ready to take them out.
Yeah, and DM waiting, literally going through 4 different characters, finally settling on a Widowmaker to try and supplement this push in the high ground. They have a pincer maneuver here, Widowmaker on one side, the rest of the team on the other, and it's actually working out. They just did so much tenderizing on Flag Gaming, they've been forced to fall back. Zenith now with a huge advantage and a 6v4 player advantage too. So Flag Gaming really doesn't have much leverage to get back into this fight. Zenith with a huge burst movement and a great just double-sided dual theater fight. That just was super effective right here, Panda.
And you can see Melons already started off the entire game on Orisa, already swapping over to Reinhardt. They already understand that this payload will be unlocked. It's just a matter of time until it gets on a roll. The tank line from LFC, all 3 of them in fact, really coming to life. And you said it yourself, Widowmaker will be the strongest pick coming out on the second, and DM already 70% to an infrared site, setting up these tanks pretty well on the snowball effect.
Oh, nice Reinhardt charge there. That's perfect. Melons doesn't have any support there to keep themselves alive after both Reinhardts clash into each other. So yeah, Zenith is right now controlling the pace, and they're staggering Flag Gaming a huge amount. So it's going to be hard for them to actually get a clean fight going towards the second checkpoint. It might just be a last stand right at that golden mark here, Panda. But even if they have a last stand, Lucky Future Zenith has a ton of time to work with, so they can afford to lose a fight or two.
And look where they're holding to. They're right in point C capture, right in the spawn room of Flag Gaming. So if Flag Gaming wants to see the light of the payload and the one person just surfing on the cart, they need to invest ultimates just to get through the heavy meaty composition of Lucky Future Zenith. Erster will be setting up around that flank, just waiting for them to walk forward into the Reinhardt shield and try to get a cheeky hook. He will miss though.
Yeah, probably wish they could take that back, and DM also kind of falling down. Landball's finding Zerster, so even though that payload's moving forward, Flag Gaming shouldn't have to worry much about an actual fight happening. Indeed, Lucky Future Zenith will fall back for the time being, waiting to recuperate, and they still have a ton of ultimates to work with.
Yeah, a ton of ultimates to work with, and they're going back to the spawn room to try to figure out what they need to do. Now, Flag Gaming, they will have both their support ultimates, so as soon as this attack does come in, they're going to be able to deal with it to a nominal degree. Earthshatter's going to come down along with the Graviton Surge, and everybody's knocked on their booty.
What a bait and punish right there, drawing Flag Gaming out as Flag Gaming had the numbers advantage, and then they got too far away from defense. in their defensive holding position. Lucky Future's Zenith is pulling them right in and then rushing them, getting behind the Reinhardt shield and cracking it down, making it look almost too easy, and Flag Gaming dropping another one. It's now a 2-0 lead here for Lucky Future Zenith.
Yeah, Lucky Future Zenith, the full Korean roster, looking fantastic thus far in this series, Rapture. I want to see what Flag Gaming is going to adapt to next to see how they can take the next map for a ride.
And now with the second map over, we are going to throw it back to the desk again. It is technically halftime, so I'd like to see what the desk has to say here. Lucky Future Zenith up 2-0, kick tripod on the desk. What do you guys got to say about it?
Well, that was a quick one. That was, I think, a little bit faster than we even expected it to be. Joe, we saw something kind of interesting from Flag Gaming out at the beginning, right? In their attack. Saw Doomfist Genji. I got pretty excited. I'm like, all right, bring on the Doomfist. I like it. And you know, ran pretty typical dive from there into what Zenith was kind of running a pretty hard anti-dive composition. They didn't change. Is this going to be a problem for Flag Gaming? Talk to me about this.
I don't know that it's a problem. I think that it's just kind of growing pains for them specifically. I think they've been very slow adapters to this very broad and open meta. Again, this is only week 2 of these guys playing this patch in a very competitive setting. So they're kind of testing out exactly the waters and everything. So what I did like about the Doomfist, however, so I don't think the dive was necessarily the problem. I think you could kind of get that to work, and I think they slowly did once they got their ultimates together. But what I did like about the Doomfist conceptually is that it actually deals with verticality better than Tracer does, and it brawls well on the point. So if they try to contest you on the point, you can bop them around, you knock them up, you give Genji a great way to be able to chain together dragon or dashes, and it's not bad. It's a little weird. It's a little bit new, but that's China. Everything's weird. Everything's new, and I absolutely love it. It's so cool to watch.
Yeah, especially, you know, Volma mentioned the Tracer pick. Like, if you're running Tracer into what was the defense they're coming out from Flag Gaming, where it was, or from Zenith rather, where it's like that Junkrat, just a hard anti-dive, you don't want to be a Tracer player in that situation. I mean, I know I've been in the solo queue, and Junkrat's just hitting you, and then you're having to recall, you're having to waste your mobility and blinks, and then it's just an absolute mess. And it doesn't really have that pick potential that Doomfist does, because Doomfist, if you're hitting those like punches into walls, you can definitely get someone like a support, you can get their Junkrat, and then just completely turn a fight on its head. So I really like that pick. It just didn't work in theory, I guess, as much as or in execution rather.
So to touch on your point, one thing that we do have to mention, because I do think that Tracer actually has a lot of pick potential, but what Doomfist brings over Tracer that I kind of touched on was the displacement. We're pushing people away, we're knocking them up, we're kind of bopping them around, and we're kind of creating that chaotic environment that I think Flag Gaming wants to put Lucky Future Zenith in. That's how they're going to win this match, if they are.
And that's what we've been talking about, right? Is if Flag Gaming is going to make it happen, they have to play their game, which is this really aggressive type of game. They didn't change it up. They weren't willing to change it up. It definitely hasn't worked out in their favor in this first half. Let's talk about Zenith's push a little bit here, Kenobi. They break out one of the most dominant point A pushes that we've probably seen in a while, and you had one of the DPS just sitting in spawn, switching between Pharah and Tracer for the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if they want to just, maybe they just want to play 5v6, you know, like go back to the spawn, just take a break. We'll take it from here. Us tanks, we'll just kill everything on the enemy team. I really like the pincer maneuver that they had to get them off the high ground, where they kept the Roadhog on the low ground for that pick potential and for that pressure. Just with his, you know, Roadhog, you know, it's not old Roadhog, but it still does a sustainable amount of damage if you're hitting hooks and if you're hitting your right click or left click. So I really like the kind of movement that they had, the aggressive movement, and then the way that they after that just pressed their advantage. They moved all the way to enemy spawn, to all the way to point C. They were spawn camping them. It was the first point, and that's something I think we're going to probably see a lot of, is that aggressive style that we talked about, right? It's just like they're just going to keep like just beating you down, punching you in the mouth, making sure that you're not going to be able to get up because we're spawn camping you. We're that confident in our abilities.
Lucky Future Zenith is Korean, but they're Chinese as it gets. That was China in a nutshell, folks.
I love it. Okay, so we're going into the second half of this match, right? And I got to know who's your player to watch here. Who's the player who's going to have the biggest impact on the results in this second half, Joe? What do you think?
If you're kind of a supporter of Flag Gaming, I'm looking at DMO. He's kind of showed an interesting hero pool, breaking out the Doomfist. He's typically their Tracer player. I want to see what he's got. I think that if they tighten this up a little bit more, have the Diva and the Winston and a little bit more on the same page, they can make something happen. Maybe it's the MO with some crazy picks. Maybe we see more of the Mei. Maybe we see more of the Doomfist. I don't know. I'm looking at him.
Kenobi, what about you? Who are you watching this second half?
Well, if you're an LFZ fan at this point, I am, because I want them to win 4-0 because I want my prediction to be right. You definitely want to be looking out for Erster. Erster, these last two maps has been absolutely huge and has that flexibility potential. We saw him. I think he was on the Roadhog and he was on the Junkrat, so he definitely has that flex potential that we sometimes see from players where you're able to switch from that off tanky sort of role to that DPS type of role. Something like EQO kind of does that a good amount. So I think he's the man to look out for going forward, because on King's Row, on the first attack for Flag Gaming, Erster was just going absolutely off on that Junkrat, getting so many tires, so much damage out, and they kind of weren't really respecting him too much. And I think after this, they've definitely got, they definitely need to get his number.
All right, Joe, I need you to give me a silver lining here for Flag Gaming. If they're going to come out of this one, take one map, two maps, maybe three maps, what do they need to change here? What needs to change for this team?
I think Panda had a good point on broadcast where their ultimates are slightly I wouldn't even say slightly. They're at a disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
They're LFC's just building double the ults that Flag Gaming is, and that's a problem when you look at just a resource management perspective, where if I have more stuff than you, I'm just going to generally have a better time, right? It doesn't matter what kind of stuff it is. It could be Mercy ults, it could be Trans, it could be Junkrat tires, which again, very, very strong ultimate. If you just have more stuff, if you have more ultimates, if you just have more abilities off cooldown that you don't have to invest into a team fight, that's going to be the issue. So I think the keys to unlocking that, I need their flex tank to mark the Junkrat if there's going to be a Junkrat in the map. I need them to tighten up that dive. I love the chaotic nature. It's really fun to watch because it's all over the place. You've got Widows taking flanks. It's great, but I need it to be a little bit more refined down. Focus the same target, and I think you'll be okay. That's the kind of silver lining. That's the path to that victory.
All right, fair enough. So I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm going to ask you anyway. You guys changing your predictions at all? Or are you both still going 4-0 Zenith? No. Are you sure?
4-0. Yeah. I'm taking that 4-0.
LFC looks good.
Let's put it to bed, man.
This is Ardian. This is Mighty AOD. We've seen these guys. They're last season's champions. Flag looks okay. They've got a lot of potential, but the refinement needs to be sharpened down. They need to whittle that wood down a little bit more, and they'll be shooting straight.
I'd also like to see Flag.
None of these make sense, Joe. You need to go to bed, man. Sorry, Kenobi, what were you saying?
I'd also like to see Flag, maybe bring out their own type of, aggressive style of play. We did see it kind of on the dive, but I want to see them, that kind of aggressive punch in the mouth style that we're seeing from Lucky Future Zenith. Fight fire with fire. Try and make it to a point where you can be those aggressors and you can probably put Lucky Future Zenith back on their heels, because Lucky Future Zenith, there have been those moments where they've looked shaky, but it's really been them on the front foot, and Flag Gaming needs to kind of just put the pedal to the metal and get on them and make sure that they're not feeling comfortable. Because right now, Lucky Future Zenith, as comfortable as it gets, I don't think they use the support ult on second part of King's Row, except at the end of BM a little bit. But I think that's, they just got to start forcing some ultimates, as you mentioned, Vol. Yep. And I think that's really the key for Flag Gaming to, try to crawl their way back up into this matchup.
Well, we are seeing Flag Gaming make a change here. EvilX coming in for Land Boss, I believe, if I saw that right on the feed there. Is this the change that they need? Is that it?
If it's going to be a change, they can't really go anywhere, down. They can just only go up from here. So, bringing in a sub DPS that flexes LFC onto, some strats that they might not be necessarily familiar with. I don't believe we saw EvilX in the VODs, but maybe they've got scrims with footage of Evil, and it could be an issue. A change is good. It's putting LFC on that back foot, like Kenobi mentioned. They're going to be playing their game. It's important to keep a note of it.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the halftime here. We're jumping into Volskaya Industries coming up next. We're going back to the desk. Well, we're the desk, actually. We're going back to our casters, Rapture and Panda. Go ahead, guys. Take it away.
Thank you, guys. Yep, we're going to Volskaya. We got to chill things out, and Flag Gaming definitely wants that. It's been a very quick and frictionless set so far. 2-0 here for Lucky Future Zenith. And now, Panda, it's up to Flag Gaming. Can they get the reverse sweep? I would love to see it, but there's a lot of work to be done if that's going to happen.
A lot of work needs to be done indeed. And to quote my my analyst on the desk, just knocking up all the opponents of the adversaries. You know, I really want to see more of that from the Doomfist in particular. More flexibility coming out from Demo, please. It's what's needed. You need to push the last year's Contenders winners to the brink, and the only way you're going to do that is by displacing them, by pushing them to the next level. And you can see just doing that, they're going to end up having one substitution come in here. It's going to be, I believe I pronounced that by Villex, will be coming in as the Genji, nevertheless, instead of Land Boss. But Demo, sticking on that Widowmaker, trying to take that 1v1 to DM, gonna have to go up huge.
Well, as far as I know, I don't think this is actual land, so maybe they need like a different kind of boss here. Maybe that's why they made the substitution. We'll see how that works out for them. Flag Gaming on offense, of course, on the red side here, trying to make that left side flank. Lucky Future Zenith just casually readjusting themselves, getting an easy kill on Evil X, and now putting pressure on the high ground, trying to just sort out this Winston to separate themselves from the rest of the pack with the help of that Discord, or Michelle gets the kill. And that's gonna be a pretty free hold here for LFZ here, Panda.
Yeah, pretty easy hold indeed. And to your point, Rapture, we can go ahead and talk about it. I mean, to what you would need for the displacement of LFC. Now, they're running this dive defense, right, around DM on this Widowmaker. Resurrection is come through, so it's going to be a 6v6 here again. But they're not winning this micro duel. They need to take it to the macro level. Even if you need to go back on that Doomfist, that extra pressure inside the dive is what you need. Demo's not winning the micro battle 2 out of 3 times. You need to swap to the macro battle immediately.
Ooh, and already a lot of damage being put there on Colas as they peek out the corner. May have to rethink that one. DM is waiting, has their sights on them, and Erster has the blade as they sit around and saunter on the point, finding DMO by themselves, almost able to get the kill, but thankfully Colas there just in time with the Harmony Orb to keep him alive. Now some pressure being put on Michelle, back in that inside area where the Mega Health Pack is, on the right, has D-Mech going to be able to jump into the Diva Bomb at 94 HP, gets cut down, just going to be able to get back into the fight with that as DM picks up DMO. It's a 6v5 advantage here. Going to try and push it, get rid of this Winston. Now it's 5v4, looking for this Mercy. Marvel has him cornered, but the Diva's there in time. Now, with that Primal Rage, going to have to probably pop the Cape alive, but the Transcendence comes out instead for Lucid. Lucid going to help usher this team to hopefully some more kills here. And now, oh, with a nice dive in from the Blade. No, it gets cut down. Lucid finds the headshot on that Blading Evil X on Flag Gaming. And it looks like Zenith might be able to hold on to this, plus keep the IDK Mercy ultimate here, Panda. So I'd say it's a solid win.
That's huge to stuff that Dragon Blade, especially from a Zenyatta standpoint. Lucid coming alive with that headshot on to his protege of Genji. They will have a few ultimates to play around. Both tank ultimates, Infrared Sight will be procced, but IDK was down, so they didn't have Mercy. They didn't even have the Valkyrie ult available coming back from spawn. That was their opening, and now they need to find another one.
Flag Gaming might be able to get something off of these tank ultimates they're holding onto here. And with the D-Mech onto Michelle, no more defense matrix. They might be able to push in, just do a lot of unmitigated damage. Oh, nice. Evil X and Melons both picking up kills. Coldest as well, finding the D-Mech Michelle. And Flag Gaming looks like they will indeed get finally the point A capture just around that 1 minute mark. But now they still got to make second point happen here, as there's still a lot more to go. And of course, we're on 2 CP, we're on Assault, which means this is far from over.
Yeah, the Infrared Sight from Demo seemed to be the most, I would say, the most clairvoyant of ults as it is. You know, it doesn't do any damage, but information is gold in a game like Overwatch, seeing where the enemy team will be coming from, especially in the dive defense. Now, coming into this next point, they didn't invest any support ult tank ultimates, so the snowball effect could be in favor here. And very close to the self-destruct. Michelle needs to get this very quickly and come up huge with it.
Oh yeah, nothing doing. Still seems like it was more to keep themselves in the fight and try and get the push going rather than actually get kills, but it would have been nice. Nevertheless, Lucky Future Zenith losing their own Michelle's mech here, and then also the Widowmakers, so a bit of a disadvantage for Zenith. They have less presence on the point without that Diva, and the Widowmaker able to put on residual damage from afar, and Erster getting shut out. The door just slammed on their face there from that Primal Rage. Evlux are trying to outdo their counterpart. There it goes. There's a Blade finding just the Zenyatta, and unable to actually get much out of there as the bodyguard Marvel jumping right in. Now Erster's trying to do some damage. And this fight kind of just petering out a little bit here. Flag Gaming still on the outside, the outer rim of the fight. Both teams kind of trading evenly, but of course the defensive spawn's a lot closer, so Zenith should be able to hold.
Yeah, there's no way that they're going to be able to invest any sort of attack on here. They do have 2 ticks from that snowball, 3 minutes and 37 seconds now feeling good about it. They invested the 4 ultimates. Infrared Sight will be procced out for demo now. So in the end, though, Rapture, Evil X went in with the Dragon Blade, dashed in, but didn't find another kill, and that's what I was talking about in previous maps about Genji in this current patch, that if you don't get that reset, he's kind of just a wet noodle just stuck out in the air, and it's pretty easy to follow up on it, especially with Marvel on Winston.
Yeah, and Marvel getting found out there in that bottom corner. I'm going to have to fall back for the time being, and Ursa going to try and build up to this blade as soon as possible there, hopefully before Flag Gaming jumps in on them. Instead, they're going to be proactive and jump in on the other team, forcing out the Transcendence from the Zenyatta. DML getting rid of Lucid, who is about halfway to their Transcendence, so that could have been found in the fight itself. DM falling back, has that long sightline for anyone who pushes up mid. Evil X going to go around the right side, though, but has the D.Va instead to deal with and has to fall back. Now Flag Gaming, not a huge advantage, trying to figure out how they're going to get onto the point, but with Ursa going down from Coldest, that's a cue to go in. They're going to dive up into the high ground. Meshell with a ton of damage and pressure onto them. Evil X finding IDK meanwhile. That's a lot of damage being done to Zenith, and the point almost being taken too. Flag Gaming's all over it, and then almost his point B, just barely there, less than 4% remaining. Lucid goes down, Transcendence was just built, and there it is. Flag Gaming, 2 minutes and 27 seconds on the board, will finally take point B.
You know what's always really interesting to me is that when they're setting up for a Dragon Blade, they don't really find anything. You know, but when they're coming in with that push that time was with a Valkyrie, they find everything. It's like they're trying to set up these big DPS ultimates, and going in way too far. Over aggression is fighting them in the rear. However, what worked out very well was the chain dive from the Valkyrie ultimate. We know that Mercy is very fantastic for that exact measure, that if you are coordinated around Melon's Winston, Lai's going to get a whole bunch of healing. Evil X is going to get a whole bunch of healing as well. That dash reset is just a mere tickle cannon away to happening, and then you're on to the next target. With the 2 minutes and 27 seconds in the time bank, we're looking to our past champions to do better.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, this is a time where LFZ can kind of take this a little slower. There's really no pressure on them, right? Like, even if they drop this map, they're still looking really good in this set overall. But this is the first time that Flag Gaming has definitely kind of put the stops to Zenith. This is the first time we've kind of seen a little more life out of them in this set, which is great. Better late than never. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today. So why not get started now? Flag Gaming, though, yeah, you're right. They still got to stuff Zenith, and we could easily see a very quick snowball from them. Flag Gaming, it took a little while to get the engines back going. But once they did, they kept the pressure on the point, I would say, pretty solidly. And if they didn't, they were able to reset pretty quickly.
Yeah, and to go back to that whole snowball effect as well, they were able to capture that point A without any investments from supports, Mika, Coldest, or tanks, Lai, Melon. So they were able to set themselves up wonderfully on that point B. Over sustainability on that Primal Rage and the self-destruct gave them those first 2 ticks, so it was just a one-team fight scenario away, one more team wipe, and they were enabled to do just that. Now they're setting up on defense around this Tracer and Widowmaker composition in patch 1.24. It is very powerful, elongating the sightlines and allow Evil X to get that follow-up damage very cleanly on Lucid. That Zenyatta has been a very big thorn in the side for Flag Gaming.
Now Zenith trying to be a flag, just at least another thorn in the side. Maybe trying to tear this flag down, going right side, and then immediately shifting left. And they find that Flag Gaming's hanging out on the point itself, waiting for whatever rotation comes their way, but there's no high ground holding for Flag Gaming, so Zenith might want to take advantage of that. They're gonna just go right onto the point itself, DMO from long range, inside that mega health pack room, gonna try and put some shots down. Meanwhile, Evil X right on the front lines, doing some damage, Lie with them, with the defense matrix, holding it down. And the defense right now doesn't have too much pressure on the point itself. Zenith's just going to go on the outside, finding Miko with the help of Marvel and Xerxes combining. And that's a 6v4 advantage for Zenith. 6v3, it's snowballing 6v2. Flag Gaming almost has nobody left here. Just the D.Va and the Widowmaker, who really can't fight on their own, especially when the D.Va's demeched. And just like that, snap of the fingers, Zenith taking that first point in just about a minute.
And if you blinked, you might have missed it, but that's just the power of a coordinated dive right there, especially with the pressure of elongating sightlines of a Widowmaker. Now, when you see Marvel went in, Mika was already about half HP. It was just, again, a swift strike away for another reset, and then we just saw Ursa immediately onto the next target. We'll have the Dragon Blade available for this next team fight. We'll be looking for IDK to use the Valkyrie to enable Ursa to pull out the Dragon Blade. Here it comes. Valkyrie's already out. The wings are free. They're looking to take the flag and run with it.
And it's so easy for Ursa to get these kills when the Widowmaker is just doing a ton of damage. DM just piling it on. The output's crazy. And Ursa has that blade too. The second that Flag Gaming steps on the point, that's probably going to get popped here. And now the D.Va's going to get on them. Mercy is just an ult. They're going to try and dive in. The D.Va bomb forces them away into cover. Michelle gets a kill on Lion. And then DM finding the Bree. That's 6v4 advantage with DMO finding Marvel. And now it's a 1v1 battle. Oh, gets cut down by DMO. DM had the D.Va coming in to help out, but couldn't stay alive long enough to do some damage. Now Transcendence popped here from the Zenyatta Coldest. And Flag Gaming, a Blade, Urster on the outside of that Transcendence finds Mika the Mercy, and now going in for more. In the back line, gets shield bashed, and now it's a 3v1 advantage, and that has to fall back here, but still, Zenith has some players on the point, has the Doomfist now in their face, and now there's a ton of just burst crowd control coming out from Flag Gaming on the point. It's somewhat working out for them, but Michelle and others still able to find kills here. Zenith still with a beating pulse on the point, but most likely will have to relinquish and do fall back.
With Marvel going down, losing your main tank, no push will be sustained on this point anytime soon, regardless of what ultimates you have. They seem to think otherwise. Popping the Valkyrie going in, but the shield bash is met from Evil X. Good pick by the Brigetta to shut down Urster on this Genji thus far.
Yeah, triple support for Flag Gaming. They're trying to bolster their defenses and then some. Trying to just get the biggest health pool and shielding and armor as possible right now here, Panda. But 2/3 of point B already taken for Lucky Future Zenith. I don't even know if Flag Gaming kind of let that slip out from under them. So Zenith can recontest. They have 5 minutes to do so, Panda. So this fight pretty much looks lost, but it's pretty much nothing here for Zenith. They don't even really have many ultimates to work with anyway. So this just ways to build more ultimate charge. And for some reason, Flag Gaming going so far deep here that they're burning resources when the fight's already won.
And they're all the way in the courtyard as well, and they're not going to be able to have this Doomfist ultimate upon re-entry, but this is the same scenario that they had for their snowball effect on the win condition of their attack. Now they have both support ultimates and the tank ultimates in tow to hold them off, and IDK saw something maybe we didn't with that Valkyrie, and now Urster sees something that we definitely see, unsheathing the Dragon Blade, missing the first slash, and here comes the rest.
Oh yeah, Urster going up and their wings burning away and falling back to the ground. No kills on that blade whatsoever, and Zenith might not want to pop any more ultimates after that, but yeah, they're just going to throw down both the Primal Rage and the D.Va Bomb. They're starting to collect some point. All they really do is get the Transcendence pop from Coldest. For 2 ultimates, they still get no kills here, and the D.Va Bomb waiting from Lai. That's going to come out right now. Meanwhile, Marvel picking up the kill on DMO. In the backline, though, going to be forced out by the other support here, Bree, and forced to jump out at 45 HP or so, jumping out, and again, Flag Gaming holding on tight as Zenith burning some ultimates they probably wish they could have saved here. The resurrection will come out from Marvel, but it looks like they're going to try and continue to push this on. They actually don't let go, and Flag Gaming find themselves on the ropes and losing this fight somehow as Zenith continues to pile on the pressure, Panda.
IDK keeps on getting these resurrections onto Marvel. Nobody's punishing him. That main tank needs to stay out of the team fight because then Urster just comes in with the Dragon Blade and finds 3.
Ooh, that is absolutely ruthless there. Panda and Flag Gaming now in desperation. No lie, has to get on, losing that $30,000 mech immediately. That's definitely not going to be a tax write-off. Lucid gets 1.5. Urster with another one. Flag Gaming losing numbers very fast. Oh, the Doomfist just skirting on just in time. Lucid has the Transcendence. Oh, and the May from Evil X, unable to get there, just milliseconds too late. And it's tied 2-2 here. Panda, LFZ are not done just yet.
The moment that the resurrection came through from IDK onto the main tank from Marvel, they felt the 5-hour energy. They popped forward with all of the eccentric energy and just took that to the T. They only had to get 1 tick rapture, and one more team fight and 1 more team fight victory spelled the end. Regardless of how long the team fight lasted, they still have seconds in a lead. Even though it's been minimal, the lead is still good because you're on defense first for LFC. Flag Gaming coming out on attack. Gonna have to see if they change up anything. Took a little bit of time working in to getting this time bank thus far. Gonna see if they take any swaps thus far, but the defense this time around, it's gonna see same kind of stylistic dive core with the Widowmaker and Genji. Urster coming alive on that those Dragon Blades, finding 3 on that last push. Something we haven't really seen because Dragon Blade Rapture isn't exactly the biggest damage dealer in this.
Zenith early to get themselves more time to try and deal with point B if they can even get there. But let's not count their chickens before they hatch. They're going to try and do point A first. 2 minutes left on the board. They're going to jump right in, and DM getting cut down before the fight really even gets started.
Yeah, Resurrection will come through. So we're still stuck in the 6v6 scenario. However, Flag Gaming, no Resurrection for the next 30 seconds. So they need to set themselves up properly, all while Urster has been in the backline just farming, but he will get cut down.
Yeah, another kill from DM. Marvel going right in, dispersing this 3-pack right there as DM killing the tenderized opponents that the Winston had served up for them Gary's way. IDK with the Resurrection on Urster, and that's just supplementing their defense. And Flag Gaming might actually get staggered here. They definitely can't afford that. They get rid of this Mercy. Indeed, Mika does go down, trying to just dive over toward the tanks. And even the Diva getting lost cause here, too. Going to be cut down, and they're going to stagger him a little bit. And that's huge. Even this Genji's going to be flanking a little bit, Panda, but so much time's being chewed away for Flag Gaming.
Now, I didn't exactly see where Urster was taking his farming hoe in tow and farming off that Dragon Blade that he will have for this next team fight, but if the proccing from the infrared sight will be gone. Again, the story of the day, no punishment coming out for IDK's Resurrections. Flag Gaming, a very aggressive dive-heavy team, not so aggressive on punishing the free Resurrection from IDK.
Absolutely not. For 53 seconds on the clock here, and here comes Flag Gaming. Immediately, the second they see him turn the corner, Urster gets one, gets two, DM helping out with another one. That's three, that's four, and the D-Mech to boot. And Lucky Future Zenith, they've seen their destinies and now they're following through. That's a huge team kill right there, like Panda, or like Panda, done like Panda, and immediately shut down. And Flag Gaming almost extinct like the Panda right now. 27 seconds remaining, and I hope not, because I love Pandas. Pandas are so awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and we all appreciate that. But speaking of seconds, 18 left of now. Flag Gaming wasting almost 2 minutes to the fact. What ultimates will they have? Well, near all of them. They're going to have both support ultimates walking in here. Evil X will have the Dragon Blade. Here comes the Primal Rage, though, from LFZ's Marvel to just push the entire team back.
Yeah, and Cole is getting caught out in that corner, forced to use Transcendence just to stay alive, and that means the Winston's waiting on the other side of it. Evil X still has the blade. This is going to be it. Will they be able to turn the tides of this fight? It's desperation hours for Flag Gaming if they want to try and hold this map here. He's going to wait to the very last second to pop it. Lai also has the Diva D-Mech if necessary. There's a Transcendence, and immediately popping the blade just as the Transcendence come out, but Michelle gets the 3K with the Diva Bomb. That's huge. Flag Gaming, I don't know if they can come back from that one. Another Diva Bomb, but it's too little too late. There's the team kill, and there it is. Zenith holding on, and that'll be enough. Flag Gaming unable to take point A.
You know, the one thing about a Diva Bomb, too, is that you are so focused on capturing that 1 point. The one thing about point A Volskaya, there's not many places to hide, and you have to stay on the point. One thing that many teams run into the problem with, who is dying on the point, who's jumping on the point next. We saw a darn near full dive attack. It's very possible, but they fell up a little short, but they did able to muster a 6v6 attack, and Evil X came a little bit alive there. I did enjoy seeing that, but the time got shaved down too fast. The story of the defense for LFC, though, Rapture, Urster, man. I mean, making that Genji look clean, man. Cutting through it like butter.
Yeah, Urster really making it look easy. Like, this is one of those players where, like, like you see a character being played and then you try and jump on ladder to do the same thing. That's this kind of player, right? Like, you see Urster make Genji look so cool and so effective at like one of the highest levels of competitive Overwatch, and indeed, really they do. Making, putting on a show, especially, in this set where things might be going their way a little heavy. It's still great to see both teams really doing their best to take and earn these wins. Flag Gaming has not given up whatsoever, which is making this even more of an enjoyable set as I may have initially thought on the onset. So that's great from them, and they're still not out of it. This could still go their way. We could have a hold here, Panda, but Lucky Future Zenith, 3 minutes on the board to just take 1 point. We've seen them do it quicker. Let's see if they can beat their high record.
Map 5 is out of the question. However, this is a very drawable scenario for Flag Gaming, but they can't push a Map 5 now. They can get one more map score series, but the draw is still set. So walking in here with the dive attack that they know and love on Volskaya, it's to set up Urster even more with the Dragon Blade in minutes. But even though, look at Demo hanging out in the back. They are playing so safe, Flag Gaming is this time around. Very patient, not the same team we've seen over the past couple attack phases.
Ooh, Mika almost getting caught out, diving around, playing maybe a little too mobile there, and Marvel trying to look for the pick. DM, though, getting on the board on Evil X, so that's probably a cue to go in right there. The Mega Pack will be ready in case someone needs to jump in and get it. Again, the Mercy diving over. That means the Discord Orb's going to be right on them, and almost a cut down from the Genji. DM's going to try and seal the deal, though, looking for the Widowmaker as well. and that's going to be a push up from Marvel, even though they got Discord, still trying to dislodge this Widowmaker, and the Mercy finds Meek in the backline finally, and then Erster isolating with the Diva, the Zenyatta. Both supports are down for Flag Gaming. The sustain for them against Lucky Future Zenith is almost non-existent here, Panda, and just piling on right now. The kill feed's going blue.
It's so hard to exist when you're just getting sliced all to bits by Erster here. I mean, he's finding these blades faster than any other Genji I've ever seen, and just like that, they capture the one-tick Rapture, and they're going up in the series LFC 3-0.
Yep, that means they do take the series. We'll be going to a fourth map, but Lucky Future Zenith taking another win here in Contenders China Season 2, and I'm sure the desk really wants to talk about it, so we're going to quickly throw it over to them. Kick Tripod, Volumel, and Kenobi. What do you have to say about this 3-0 lead?
We have a lot to say, believe it or not, but we're actually going to go take a quick break because that's the thing that we do sometimes. We're going to be back for map 4 in just a minute. Right now, it is Lucky Future Zenith up 3-0 over Flag Gaming. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, Overwatchers. We are about to head into the fourth map of this set between Lucky Future Zenith and Flag Gaming. And Panda, with that one map left, Flag Gaming just has such a mountain to climb right here. We'll see how far they get towards the peak. Any expectations going to this fourth map? I know we're still waiting to find out what this map might be. Do you have any expectations maybe in terms of map pick or just general gameplay?
I think the flag's getting a little bit heavy for them. I mean, they're climbing this mountain they're climbing this mountain to your point, and it's one thing that is freaky is that you're always running into these different oppositions. One thing that I've been speculating off camera, of course, is these Zenyatta players. I've been looking very keenly at where their focus fire is going, where the Discord replacement is at, and it seems to be that LFZ has a deeper understanding of who needs to be dressed with the Discord or who needs to be focus fired. Since there's no Reinhardt, Zenyatta doesn't need to be doing shield breaking, so he's free to use his non-damage off orbs of destruction and putting them to the face of the enemies, always focus firing the off tank of D.Va and the Widowmaker as well. That is a lot of pressure going onto those adversaries when they already thought that they were already dealing with a 1v1 of their equal parts of the other team.
Right, and for Flag Gaming, who would you say is like at least the standout player for them and possibly the way for them to get back into the set?
I mean, for Flag Gaming specifically,
Yes.
it's honestly hard to say. It's more of a duo than it is anything. I would probably give it to their entire tank line at that, in between Lai and Melons. They're looking a lot more sound than they did, for me personally, when I was watching them in week 1 of Chinese Contenders. Walking in, again, this is a very eccentric, dive-oriented team. Now, to watch a D.Va to go in before Winston, very unorthodox. This week, though, they're true, sticking to it. Winston in first, D.Va defense matrix him, let the Tesla cannon do its thing, and then let the follow-up come through. It's just unfortunate that when you see the DPS coming out and the swaps from Evil X on and off from Land Boss is when you start seeing a desorganization in between DPS and tank lines that you need to go to the next level and just make sure that everybody's sticking with you. Though it is dive, you still need the coordination.
And in the interim, in the meanwhile, we have figured out our fourth and potentially, not potentially, actual final map of the set. It is going to be Watchpoint Gibraltar. Going into this is Flag Gaming, where they can at least screw with the map differential for LFZ. And so far going into this, Lucky Future Zenith is looking very clean map-wise. We'll see. Flag Gaming, we definitely should expect that Widowmaker map matchup here between DM and DMO. But what else can we expect from these two teams going into Gibraltar?
Gibraltar is a very, there's so much high ground here. You have to expect that all teams, if that, will be playing dive-oriented teams. You can see all 4 tanks playing around just that. In fact, with that of a matter, these Chinese Contenders teams, man, they really like their Genji play. And if there's one person in particular making a dividend on that hero, it's Erster. That Dragon Blade, making it look good, finding the dash/resets on his own, whether he needs the pocket from his Mercy or not. That's how you got to do it. I'm looking for Evil X here on Flag Gaming, who's sticking in over Land Boss to come alive on the Brigetta this time. They're finally taking the macro battle I want to see here on their defense, waiting for the dive to come, or on their attack rather, waiting for the dive to come into them and punish them one by one. I am waiting to see it happen.
And Panda is the analyst guy. I'm a little disappointed you didn't talk about the line dancing from LFZ. I mean, they were on point, man. They really put a lot into their routine, but
I know.
I see how it is, man. I understand. You have priorities elsewhere. Lucky Future Zenith also has priority elsewhere, trying to hold this payload before it gets too far in the first phase. They want to try and keep it in that little rut on the first point, or at least the first phase around the first corner. Meanwhile, Melons does get Lucid to get cut down, forcing out the res, putting IDK in a bit of a risky situation, but able to get out pretty fretlessly, so no kills to be confirmed so far. We do have Erster having to deal with this Bree upstairs, and that's going to keep them remain from the rest of the point, but now that they realize she's low, they're going to get pinched on 2v1 advantage, and Marble jumping in to help out Erster, and then Michelle finding Melons. It's going to be a 5v4 advantage here for Lucky Future Zenith, which should cool down the payload for now, Panda.
This 1-2-3 composition that's coming out from Flag Gaming is set up to deal with the dive that comes in, but it's heavily reliant on DMO to kill off DM, to come up on top of that 1v1 micro battle, Widow v Widow, 2 out of 3 times more often than not. Erster again showing how well he is first in farming off a Dragon Blade. We'll have one, and it's unsheathed. Oh my!
Hard, a huge amount of kills.
Oh my!
an amazing amount of blood on there. That blade definitely needs to be cleaned up after that one. Lucky Future Zenith just very thankful to have Erster slaughtering this team. Flag Gaming put back on the shelf for another moment or so, and now we're at the 2-minute mark, and they're barely able to get anywhere, Panda.
I just almost shook out of my seat there for a little bit. That has to be one of the best Dragon Blades I have seen in quite some time, and especially in this patch, not exactly an easy feat, especially around the shielding composition that is Brigetta. Now, they will have the core 4 ultimates that they use in Volskaya to look very good. The Self-Destruct, Primal Rage, Transcendence, and Valkyrie. How are they going to look to use it as Infrared Sight is finally over from DM?
Why still able to sit on this Diva Bomb. They want to get back into the flank and rejoin the players on their team on the high ground as the rest comes out from Mika to keep their support alive. 1 minute and 37 seconds remaining on the clock here. And Michelle gonna try and make their way into the server room. Join Marvel. DM gets the cut down. That's a nice kill. Advantage here for Lucky Future Zen. They're gonna push it as that Transcendence comes out from Coldest. Marvel using the Primal Rage to jump right on. And now low percentages here for Flag Gaming alt-wise, except Lies gonna pop that Diva Bomb as Michelle Erster and Michelle getting the kill, getting the teammate. Erster going in the blade, finding these squishies who are already super low. They've been tenderized, going right in hard. Deanna and Michelle stealing some kills away from the blade though. And Erster wishing they could have had those kills up on their clock, but no big deal. It works out as long as the team gets the kills, it's fine. And Panda, Lucky Future Zen with a minute left on here, just looking absolutely crazy.
Here's some quick math for you as we look at this beautiful Dragon Blade that was a few fights ago. 3 minutes has passed. 1 minute and about 15 seconds at that per Dragon Blade of Erster. That is insanity. That is so much damage coming out from a Genji to get a Dragon Blade every team fight or every other team fight at that. The Evil X is finally getting this rally, will proc it for Inspire and push the front line that much further.
Evil X swinging away here. This payload almost makes it to the first checkpoint there. Demo will find DM, but that's really not enough to get that payload pushed through the checkpoint. You already know DM is probably not on the point at all. Marvel not going to jump up, finding DML, but also a Winston waiting for them. A nice bait there by Flag Gaming, but not able to keep the Bree open. Ursa going to eat him alive. 11 seconds, now 10 remaining on the board for Flag Gaming. They got to get some kind of leverage here, get a wedge under the door somehow, but all they have is the Diva D-Max going. Oh, and they lose DML before the fight really gets started. Someone has to come and touch that point, and no one's there. Oh, just in time, someone gets up to the point as Coldest fights the kill. It's a DM, now a D-Max on the high ground. They have to fall back. The Primal Winston's definitely the one who touched that point there. Melon's got there just in time. Ursula waiting out the other team's ultimate. So he pops the blade, going in deep, looking for the Mercy, looking for somebody. The Transcendence is popped there by Coldest. Overtime, ticking away. Urster unable to get much out and only gets the attention of the Doofus, has to fall back. Meanwhile, DM trying to look for some leverage. Evil X on the front lines for Flag Gaming, looking for kills, but unable to confirm on any until Ursa gets one. Lucid gets two. A Diva Mech from downtown to 64 damage here for Lucky Future Zenith. Oh, overtime almost takes away. Flag Gaming trying to stay alive, but they are hungry and now dehydrated. They are thirsty, and they are unable to stay on the point. Not even getting the first checkpoint there. The payload just comes to a halt and never goes any further. And now Panda, Lucky Future Zenith, has set themselves up for a win.
Something everybody always speculates about. Mercy, really good coupling along with Pharah. A lot of things that a lot of people don't understand is that when you dash up in the air as Genji, it really sets up Mercy that much further. 2 damage boosts to Genji, and that's what IDK is doing. Really setting up a precedenting feel for Erster on this Genji, damage boosting him to high heaven, getting that Dragon Blade that much further. Shurikens, dash resets. That's a lot of damage coming through, especially when you're power boosted by Mercy.
Yeah.
Gosh, she is such a scary moth sometimes, I tell you. But coming out here on this attack, they have to push it 83 meters essentially, which is just right before the first hold there on the side of Flag Gaming. Not necessarily out of the woods yet. This is still a very winnable scenario. I have seen it happen before. In fact, they are coming out on this attack, on this coordination, on this composition rather, that they were just playing on attack. This 1, 2, 3 around Evil X's Brigetta, trying to wait for Demo to come up huge with these picks versus DM. But he wasn't winning the micro battle this time around, Rapture. I would like to see a more macro heavy team come out on defense rather than a core dive.
Yeah, it really comes down to, I think, how they can deal with the burst abilities of LFZ. We've seen how quickly Zenith can get on the point very fast and, hold the point. And it's going to be up to Flag Gaming if they don't get put on their heels too quickly. If they lose, like, the high ground, if they get rotated on, if they lose their supports early, it's pretty much GG right there. They need to make sure that they don't lose any like early picks. Like if DM doesn't pick up one, if DM gets 1 kill or 2, I mean, that could be it right there. So LFZ has so many win conditions going into this fight, and Flag Gaming has so much work to do. 4 minutes for them to hold before the first checkpoint. This is do or die for Flag Gaming if they want to avoid the 4 Overwatch. And Erster trying to get that first blood, going up on the high ground first here, Panda, pushing back the tank line of Flag Gaming, and that gives Lucky Future Zenith some room.
Gives them a little bit of room indeed. They almost got that initial kill on to the main tank of Melons of Flag Gaming, so they're going to reinitiate. Urser just poking around, looking for the right dive. One person on the payload just moving it ever so closely, and that's what you want, especially for the defense team. Let them get closer and closer and pick out the dive for yourselves. Evil X can't get in too deep because once you lose Brigetta, that's kind of all your eggs in that one basket. You need that rally to sustain yourself with this defense, Rapture.
And rounding this last corner here, Flag Gaming finally putting on some kind of stop. Oh, Erster gets shield burst back, shield bashed back, that is, and finds themselves back on the payload, sees that the Winston's up in their back line, and DM also finding out as Colas goes down to Marvel in the meantime. Oh, kill feed going right, so it looks like Lucky Future Zenith's just going to fall back. They've had their palms red, and they realize they got to fall back to spawn, at least for the time being.
And this is really good for Flag Gaming as well. They will have a series of ultimates to set up an ult economy with. Infrared Sight will be the first to be popped, but the one I'm most excited about will be Mika's Valkyrie ultimate. Lots of sustainability coming out for a defending team, as you know that they need to be playing together anyway, as I'm sure that they know that another Dragon Blade from Urser will be coming around momentarily.
Yeah, they have to know that. Urster's been on point with these ultimates, so they got to assume the worst. Marvel going in deep, looking to try and just break up this backline, making it easy for Urster to get the kills. Zenyatta all the way down on the floor, having to run away from Urster. Oh, but why? They baited him out with the Zenyatta and then the kill from the D.Va mech. That was great. DM, though, finding the D-mech live, so it's still a 5v5 situation. IDK now getting the res, so now advantage back to Future Zenith. Michelle has the D.Va bomb in their own. That should be enough to get some crowd control on the point and force everyone to go to cover for Flag Gaming. We'll see when they pop that. Marvel still alive, has the Primal Rage. They lose DM, but they still have possession on the payload. And there's another kill. Another one with the Primal Rage, too. Marvel going in deep, just throwing those arms around, those wrists, backhanding everybody as Urser gets a kill. Gets another one. That's a 2K. Less than 4 meters away. They have about a moment to get into there, but they need to get rid of the defense first. A minute 35 seconds left for Zenith to do so, and Urster was putting so many kills on the belt, going in deep. There it is, the team kill that Zenyatta's not gonna be able to get there in time, gets cut down, and there it is, Lucky Future Zenith making it 4-0 in the set. Good games to them, and valiant effort to Flag Gaming.
Valiant effort indeed, just for a showcasing there indeed. After that Dragon Blade, about 10 seconds passed, and then he was about 98% towards another one. Big Genji plays coming out from the side of Lucky Future Zenith. Flag Gaming, though, will stay with that one map score victory outside of this 4-0 loss against LFZ. Going forward into week 3, I want to see more improvements. They have been doing thus far, both with team compositions, Rapture. It is almost there, especially around that Brigetta. It was looking so good for so long.
Absolutely. Only went to 4 maps. It's still early in the season, but there's a lot to talk about. So, Overwatchers, we're going to throw it over to the desk. KT, Volamel, and Kenobi, I got to hear what you have to say about this, so I would just take it away.
Thanks so much, guys. Go ahead and grab a Red Bull because you're going to need it, or whatever energy drink of choice you have. I just happen to have mine. All right. Anyways, we need to talk about this map here. It happened. 4-0. You were right. You guys were right. I was wrong. You were right. Good job, guys. So
We'll
break
take our
down
Blizzard
this.
bucks. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Tell me more about this this matchup here. What happened on this map? What went wrong for Flag Gaming?
So when we jump into Watchpoint specifically, I think they had a hard time, Flag, in you know, as I'm kind of speaking to, they had a hard time dealing with pressuring DM's Widowmaker. They had a hard time actually finding Winston's to kind of create that space. I think they were actually overly concerned with controlling Tarp and controlling that Widow perch. And then we saw them, once they kind of didn't make much room and much progress with the payload, we saw them actually dive into the server room on defense and actually did find some pressure on that Widowmaker. And lo and behold, they actually do find a team fight win. I think this whole match has been DMO being kind of hamstrung in this Widow duel, and DM's just been free casting all day. Once they did finally find that solution of, oh, let's actually jump onto DM. We need to like kind of deal with him. He's actually a big deal. Urster's also a huge deal. He's like this glaring bright star. But DM's that the big damage source that's allowing Urster to bop around and find this mobility with resetting dashes and all that good stuff. So once they did find the solution, sadly it was a little too late. But I think they slowly you started to see Flag start to kind of understand what LFC were trying to do. Just happened a little too late.
Yeah, and something I noticed a little bit as Flag Gaming got, let's say, a little bit more comfortable, is they were starting to play that aggressive style that I talked about. In around halftime, I was like, well, Lucky Future Zenith is kind of like spawn camping you. They're punching you in the mouth. And when we went to we went to Volskaya rather, I saw Flag Gaming do kind of the same thing. They pushed him back, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is what we need to do. We need to push Lucky Future Zenith back, make sure they're not comfortable. Use our abilities that we have. They brought out the Doom Fist to stall, and then they just kept pushing that advantage. So that's like one of the highlights I'd say from Flag Gaming, is that you now know that they do have the capability to do that. It just needs to be a little bit more consistent.
Is a huge statement made, especially when they push them off of that multi-minute fight on point B on Volskaya. Flag Gaming on defense pushes them all the way to courtyard, and it's a statement saying, you're not going to roll over us. We actually know what we're doing. Yeah. We're going to push you back. We're going to full court press you. This isn't going to be easy for you. You actually have to try.
So too little too late though in the end, right? I mean, it wasn't as close as even at a 4-0, right? You don't normally expect these types of full holds necessarily in Contenders, but let's talk a little bit about the standout performances here. Kenobi, who was your standout player in this match, and why was it Urster?
Man, you can read me like a book, KT. I mean, did you check me out from the library? I mean,
I'm not an analyst, but even I know.
I mean, Urster just it's kind of weird because it was Urster, and I think it was a little bit of DM as well, who was kind of like I know Volamel has made this analogy before. If Urster was Michael Jordan, DM is Scottie Pippen, because I think the way that those two played off each other was absolutely phenomenal. He mentioned getting those dash resets, right? That you see that Genji, slicing and dicing in the back line, you get those dash resets to get in, get out. And then I really think that, they did a great job of just Urster, being that Genji menace that we've seen from this, this Chinese Contenders League so far in the meta. Genjis are really, really powerful.
Definitely. And a great example of this was when we jump into Watchpoint Gibraltar again. Flag Gaming is overly concerned with controlling TARP. It's a very key point on the map, but it's very important to kind of, again, create pressure elsewhere once you find the DM kind of juicy spot, whatever you want to call it. Once you find him pressured, the team starts stuff. Yeah, I know, juicy spot. It's beautiful, right? Give him the juice. So once you find him pressured, they did find success. But I think, again, they were overly concerned with TARP. And this is, again, a comp, this 3-2-1 comp where you're playing like triple support and you have the Brigitte on TARP. This is exactly where Urster found that 5k Dragon Blade. And that's kind of a big yikes. This is a composition kind of meant to dealt with Urster in the same spot that they're overly concerned with, and they still couldn't actually shut him down. That's a sign of a star player if I've ever seen one.
I think also just one last point on that. I think they brought up the Brigitte as kind of a desperation thing. It didn't look like they were really comfortable on running it. They're just like, yeah, well, Urster's in our back line. What counters dive? Oh, Brigitte counters.
We need some CC.
Yeah, we need CC. Just shield bash him forehead. Just that easy. But then Urster is just still slicing and dicing through everyone. Yeah. So maybe they need to work on a little bit of how they're gonna counter this Genji play, because it looked really ugly for a little while there.
Definitely. Well, guys, I got to thank you. This was a blast to broadcast. I know, Joe, I'm not going to see you for a little bit, but Kenobi, you're coming right back with me after the break. We're 1/3 of the way through today's matches. Lucky Future Zenith improves to 2-0 and 8-0 in map in differential, while Flag Gaming will fall to 0-2 with 1 map win and 7 map losses as they go into week 3. Thanks for tuning in. This is the inaugural English broadcast of Contenders China. Thank you for being here. If you're in NA, thank you for waking up early or staying up late. If you're in EU, this isn't that bad. I hope you're enjoying
it's
the
easy
heat,
for the
though.
EU. It's easy for
And this has been brought to you by Broadcast.gg, so make sure to follow the channel up there to get some awesome competitive Overwatch stuff throughout the week, and including Contenders China and South America. You can also get all the Contenders updates on our Twitter at Broadcast.gg. Spell out .dot, spell it out. I'm telling you, chat, I know you, spell it out, Broadcast.gg. And if you're like, hey, this is really cool, I would love to get into esports production, whether it's as a caster, an analyst, a producer, head on over to our Discord community down in the links below. We've got some panels down there to our Discord community. Over 50 broadcasters down there that you can learn from and collaborate with. We're going to take a brief break here, less than 10 minutes. We'll be back real quick, and then we're going to get back to more Contenders China as Team CC looks to take on Hero Tac turn Panther. Don't go anywhere.